This conference will now be recorded.
ਆਓ ਬੰਦ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਗੁਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ
Okay, good morning, everyone. Please take a moment to make sure that you are muted so you don't interrupt the presentation, please.
Good morning.
Good morning. Is that Harinder?
Yep, that's me, Harinder.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Harinder. So I'll start off the presentation and then I'll lead you into it.
Okay.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for Miami Beach Building Department Electronic Plan Submittal Requirements presentation. I am Natasha Diaz, the Assistant Director for the Miami Beach Building Department. Today we will go over how to properly digitally sign and seal your documents. Understanding how to do this is important to avoid having your documents rejected. The platform for this meeting today will be that I will present a few slides on what we require for electronic plan submittal. Then we have a guest presenter, Mr. Harinder Singh from Global Sign, one of our trusted digital signature authorities, and he will show you exactly how the digital is created and how it's applied. So first, a little background, why a digital seal? The digital seal allows us to validate that the documents are certified by the design professional. Before, when you dropped off plans in person, you had a raised seal, and that would allow us to confirm the validity of the seal. Now, in this electronic environment, we have the electronic seal. Digital seals are governed by Florida statutes, the Board of Architects, the Board of Engineers, and the Board of Surveyors and Mappers. So the City of Miami Beach has several requirements for plans, but the three main ones that we look for as soon as you upload your plans into the CSS system are mainly these three. We look for a PDF per discipline, so one PDF file per discipline or trade. So your architectural sheets should be in one PDF file. Your electrical sheets would be in another PDF file, your mechanical sheets in another PDF file, so on and so forth. And I'll go a little bit more into that in the following slides. The second thing we look for is that the document security settings allow for markup. And the third thing we look for is the digitally sign and seal. Affidavits are currently being accepted in lieu of the digital seal. This is temporarily being accepted until December 31st, 2020. And a note on the affidavit, those affidavits have to be submitted every time you submit plans, whether it's the first time or a resubmittal. They have to be submitted every time with the plans. If you have questions, go ahead and type them in the chat box, and at the end of the presentation, we will answer as many questions as we can. So in regards to the one PDF file per discipline or trade, so like I said, you're combining sheets for each discipline into one PDF. Do not combine them as a PDF package or PDF portfolio. So when you're combining sheets, depending on the software you're using, it asks you if you want to combine it as a PDF package, or I think the other option is called binding. Binding is the way to go, but the PDF package we do not accept. That's like a zip file, and our system does not unzip it. So an example, as I mentioned before, all architectural sheets such as A1, A2, A3 combined into one PDF, a multi-page PDF, and so on and so forth for all the other trades. The naming convention that we ask that you put on the files is name the file according to the discipline, prefaced with the permit number. So for example, your permit number is BC2014123, and the file you are submitting are architectural plans. So your name for your file will be the permit number and the discipline for those plans. In regards to document security settings, when you are putting your plans together, when you're setting the security settings, do not password protect, and your document must be set to allow changes, specifically adding comments, markups, and rotating the pages. Sometimes we receive these sets with the pages rotated in the wrong direction, and if you have it locked, we cannot rotate it. Also, the comments and markups are required to be allowed so that so our reviewers can add their markups, and once your plans are ready for finalization, we can put that approved stamp on there. And then the digital sign and seal. So everything I just showed is really kind of in the order that it should be done. Your digital seal should be applied last, because any changes you make after you apply the digital seal invalidates the digital seal. So your combining of sheets should be done first. Your security settings should be done next. And then lastly, apply your digital seal. So what requires signing and sealing, in this case, digitally signing and sealing? All plans, any design that is done by a design professional should be signed and sealed. Surveys should be signed and sealed, and calculations should be signed and sealed. Again, apply the digital signature last. More than one digital seal can be applied. So we get this question asked sometimes for as-built or private providers. You can have more than one seal applied to the set, and it will not invalidate somebody else's seal. Where to apply the digital sign and seal? So this is also a question we get asked often. An image of the seal and date should be shown on every page. But the digital seal itself only needs to be applied to the first page of the set. So when the files are in a set, so like I said in the first slide about combining your plan, so all A sheets are combined in a set, and so it's one PDF, a multi-page PDF, then you only need to apply the digital seal on the first page, and that validates the entire set. However, we do ask that you apply an image of the seal, of your seal, and the date on every page. Also, alternatively, you can digitally sign the cover or first page of the set as long as there's an index of all the drawings in the set. So in that case, you only need to digitally sign the first page when there is an index of all the drawings in the set. How to digitally sign and seal. One, you cannot self-certify. So you cannot use, I think Adobe has its own kind of signature that they call it a digital signature, but it's not really a digital signature. It's a self-certified digital signature. And that's not what we look for. We need you to use one of these third-party trusted authorities that confirm your identity and then provide you with the digital ID to apply. So if you've created your own digital seal and apply it, we will not accept that. It has to be done by one of the trusted agencies, and one of our trusted agencies, the following trusted agencies we have is IdenTrust, Global Sign, DigiCert, and Trust. As more agencies come online, then we might be able to add more to this list, but right now these are the ones that we allow. And with that, I am done with my part of the presentation. Today we have our guest presenter, Harinder Singh. He is with Global Sign, and I will turn it over to him. Harinder, let me make you presenter.
Yep, sure.
Okay, let me know if that works for you.
Yep. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you might want to make it a full screen.
Okay. Yep. Can everyone see my screen, please?
I see it well. Thank you, Harinder.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, yep. Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Natasha, for the introduction and the clear information what is being done as far as the signing and sealing of the permits are happening in the city. And so I'm the account manager here in Global Sign, one of the approved vendors for digital signatures for the city of Miami Beach. And with Global Sign for almost around 4.5 years, and precisely helping our Florida colleagues, professional engineers, architects, engineering fraternity, and especially with it started with City of Miami and the City of Miami Beach back in 2018, late 2018 and 2019, when we started talking about the E-Plan review project, uh, uh, transitioning from our standard sealing and over to the electronic or the digital sealing, I would say. Thank you, Natasha, for giving me this opportunity to present. And in fact, I would say to assist and to help our colleagues, our friends who are doing the submissions and probably finding it a little difficult or very difficult to transition from that initial stamping phase over to the digital phase. We'll take this opportunity to go ahead and first, I'll try to present what's a digital signature, how it works, and how global sign digital signatures can be, stamped, can be put onto a document or onto a PDF document. And then, of course, we'll have any question and answers. I would love to take up and make sure that we all are on the same page. Okay, so to begin with. First of all, Natasha, you touched a very good topic there, self-signed certificates. That is very important. That is the base of this whole thing. I worked for Adobe back in 2012 and 2013, and that is when they acquired the company called EchoSign. And that is where Adobe, after their PDF thing, they started to add the self-signed certificates or the self-signed signatures to the PDFs. And the difference between a self-signed and a digital signature is very simple, but it's subtle, but it's big, I would say. So if an authority or a company says that I am the one who is issuing the certificate and you get it from me and you're all set, which is what Adobe is doing, all the certificates that are issued, they say issued by that Adobe, they do not mention the name. They would not say digitally signed by Natasha Diaz. They would just say that it has been approved, it has been signed by Adobe. So that is called self-signed certificates. But when it comes to a third-party verified digital signature, I'm going to show you in a little while the exact difference as well. That is where the global sign as a certificate authority comes into picture, where your credentials, your thing that you're who you say you are has been verified before you have been issued the digital signature. Once you have that, the verification happens. If you are a big entity, we'll verify the organization. If you are an individual, we'll verify the individual identity, and very minimal documentation required. I'll let you know all the processes as well in a meanwhile. And once that is established, that is when you get a third-party verified digital signature, and that is what can be held legal in the court of law. As simple as that. And slowly but steadily, we have. It started with Florida initially, but we do have other states. Nevada, California, Texas. They're all. I mean, New Jersey, New York. They're all coming up big time, so that everyone can come on the same page and start signing with a third-party verified digital signature. And with that, I'll just go ahead and start with the process here, how this works. First, I'll show you the signature thing, how this really works, and then I'll take you to the process of how you can get the digital signature for City of Miami Beach. I have a PDF open here. Let me show you this. Okay, so this is a sample signature, and as you may say, this is what can be done. The two sides of it, left-hand side where you see the stamp, State of Florida, your name, your license number, you are a registered architect, you are a professional engineer, and that stamp, majority of us, we have it. If it's not there, we can always stamp it on a piece of paper, scan it, and save it as a PDF on the computer. And when your digital signatures are approved, then you can simply go ahead and add that image to the digital signature. It's a very simple process. I can definitely show that as well, how to do that. And on the right hand side, it tells you the name of the person, the professional engineer. How, I mean, who is the person? Like in this case, it's signed to me, so it's digitally signed by Harinder Singh, and it gives you the date and time as well. So as you may see, date, time. It's called time stamping. Plus, there are certain cities which are expecting to add these verbiage, like printed copies of this document are not considered signed and sealed. So if it is needed, it can be added as well in that image, and then image can be imported into the digital signature. That is very much possible. So this is very, very flexible, easy to handle. Now the next thing, if I hover over the digital signature, as you might have seen, it says valid signature. Now the reason it says valid signature, it is because number one, the document has not been tampered with. Nobody else has tried to edit the document after I have signed it. That's number one, because if the document gets tampered, the signature trust gets broken. That's one part of the security that digital signatures bring in. And the second is that the certificate attached to that digital signature is a valid certificate. It is not expired, because these certificates, they come with a validity: 1 year, 2 year, and 3 year. And I mean, better the more the validity, you have more flexibility, because as per the protocol, if you go for just 1 year certificate, next year when you come back for a renewal, it's not a simple subscription renewal. Being a digital signature, you need to go through the whole process of purchasing, verifying yourself again, and then installing the certificate. But if you go for a 3 year certificate, straight and simple, you're all set for next 3 years. Your identity is verified for next 3 years, and you can continue to sign. Okay, and now the next thing, how to make sure that this is a good signature. We'll go ahead and look into the properties here. As you may see, again, there's a green check mark which shows clearly that signature is valid. It has been signed. The signing time, the source of trust was obtained from Adobe Approved Trust List. That is called AATL. A little bit on that. Adobe has a trusted list of vendors or the providers or the certificate authorities which they think that have the enough credentials, enough standards to be added to their trusted list, so that whosoever signs using those signature, the signatures get trusted. Okay, and then you have the validity summary, and you can always go in further into the signer certificate. It tells you that it has been. Now here you go. This this gives me the name and my title. If you want to add a title, that is very much possible. Then it has been issued by Global Sign. That is very important. It should not say issued by Harinder Singh. That is the difference between a self-signed certificate and a digital certificate. It has to come from a third-party verified certificate authority like Global Sign, along with a validity date and like that. Okay, so that is the properties there, and you can always see the serial number, when the validity and everything. It's pretty much very, very thing. And quite a few cities I've experienced that they are looking for the serial numbers. This is where the serial number comes in. And every time you get a new certificate, you get a new serial number. That's another level of authentication. So that being said, let's quickly go into another document I have here, and I'll try to show. Okay, actually the screen is okay. Here you go. So once you have a PDF document and you have a digital signature from Global Sign approved, and you have a USB dongle. So okay, that's another point. These kind of digital certificate, because of the security, they they need to be stored or they need to be installed on a special cryptographic USB dongle. We call it flash drive, dongle, USB token. They're all same. And the process is fairly simple. We have all the instructions, everything in place, and to assist you to make sure that everything, all the instructions are met, and you're able to install the certificate onto that USB token, USB dongle. Once it is on the dongle, you just need to plug it into your computer and open a PDF document, like I have one open up here. And depending on what version, so that's another thing. If we have Adobe Acrobat Reader DC, Acrobat Pro, any Acrobat version, the older versions, Acrobat 8, 9, they have been kind of discontinued from the Adobe itself. So that will show that the signatures are not trusted. So the recommendation number one is have your Adobe updated. And the good news about it is even the free version of Acrobat Reader DC, it is available online to download. You can simply go ahead and download it without any cost. That version, I'm using the same, as you may see, the Acrobat Reader DC. Yeah, they don't pay for my pro version. So yeah, so I'm using that and it works absolutely normal. There is no problem. Acrobat Pro, you can edit things, depending on what you're using. Plus, Bluebeam, the latest edition. I wouldn't say that latest. It's been there for a while, but yeah, of late I've seen so many engineering companies. They are more inclined towards the flexibility which Bluebeam offers. So these signatures, they work very well with Bluebeam and few other PDF providers like Nitro, Foxit. So everywhere, we have tested it in house to make sure that the signatures are valid, are trusted, and we are able to digitally sign and seal using those softwares. So right now, for this purpose, for this presentation purpose, we'll be just using the Acrobat Reader DC, but we do have a video for Bluebeam in case any of us is using Bluebeam. No problem at all. Very simple. I can always push the links on how to digitally sign using the Bluebeam as well. And okay, for this, we'll just need to look for certificates. And how we see the certificates is that we need to go to the More Tools. Once we are there in the More Tools, we have certificates. So that means it is connecting to the server. And now, digitally sign is what we're looking for. We'll click on that. It asks you to use your mouse and click and drag and draw the area where you would like the signatures to appear. Depending on the plan, depending on the drawing that you're working on, if it's a small space, you can make a small space. If it provides you enough space, you can make bigger rectangle as well. The good news is that when you submit it to the city, they should be able to zoom in and zoom out. If it's very little space, ideally it should not be. It should be enough for you to put your regular stamp, and the same space can be used for the digital signatures as well. But when you submit it to the city, if they say that, okay, we cannot see it, yes, they can always zoom in and zoom out. And the picture quality, I would say, or the visibility is normal. So they should be able to find that you have digitally signed the document well. So using the mouse, we make a box. Okay, we'll make something. Okay, I'll try to make something. I think this is enough space, which we normally get for the drawings. So that is gonna pop up. Now that server is getting connected to your USB dongle right now. And as you may see, I have a couple of certificates there. So the one which is for me, and it has been issued by Global Sign, and theirs is the expiration date. So mine is expiring 29 of this month. So I'll select that and click on continue. This is where the whole magic happens. Now, the good news again is a couple of points, but the questions that I always get from my customers is I'm licensed in 7 different states. So what should I do? No problem. You just need one signature. You just need to buy one time from Global Sign. And with the ability to create multiple appearances, like over here, you can create as many appearances. When I say appearance, the seal that you see on this side, which is state of Florida, that can be replaced with state of Alabama, state of Georgia, state of California, state of New York. So if you're licensed in multiple states, no problem. Just buy one certificate, create multiple appearances, and when you create those appearances, under the drop down, if you see here, this is how it's going to appear. Like one standard text. Okay, so once I click on that, this is how it comes initially. When you get your digital certificate and you start signing with it, this is how it's going to show your name on bold letters on the left hand side and same thing on the right hand side, because we do not ask for your personal information. Number one, we do not ask for your professional seal or license. That's again, we don't want you to share any information up front. You just need to give us standard, your name, your organization name, your address, where you want that USB token to be shipped, your email address, so that we can send you the instructions and the link to download the certificate. That's it. No upfront documentation needed. No, nothing as such, right? Unless the verification process needs it. I'll talk about that in a little while. And so then you can manipulate your appearance of the digital signatures. And how you do it, it's simple. We'll go to create. This is going to give you an option here. You can either draw like this, like anything, and then apply it. Here you go, right? Or you can bring in an image here, and you can click on browse. And if you have a PDF image of your seal, just bring into that and click open, and you can have that image as I have the state of Florida image. And if you want a standard text, this is where the standard text will appear. Okay, and the best thing is that, not to get confused, you can give the kind of digital signatures. If you have, let's say, state of Florida, so you can give them, like the name Florida digital seal. This is the name you can give, and then you can save it. It's going to show as Florida digital seal in the drop down here, as you may see, right? And multiple, I've done few, like for example, handwritten. This is how it can appear. Whichever you select, if you want to go back to the standard one, the state of Florida one, you select that. Once you do this, you simply need to click on sign. Okay. Here you go. So it's going to prompt you to save the file. Now, when you save the file, give it a name. Save it, and okay, it's saving the file. Okay, so one thing it skipped right now. When you save the file, it will prompt you for the token password. That token password is the one which you will keep when you install your certificate. It did not show it up on my screen right now because I've signed a few documents. I mean, within few minutes. I was signing few before we logged in, and I signed right now. So it has a session. That's how it works on the back end. One of my technical guy explained it to me once. So if you're signing some documents, let's say you have 10 documents to sign right now, and you're signing one. The first one, when you sign, it will prompt you for a token password, and that is the point of security. Let's say if you lose your token, and you think that, hey, you know what, I lost my digital signature. It's a big thing, because these are signatures which can be held legal in the court of law, and if someone gets hold of your token and the password, then they can sign anything. But again, the password is very personal. It has to be with you. Once you have the password, don't share it with anyone unless you think that that is doable. Within office, if you have a professional engineer has project managers or admins who are signing the documents, well, that's their internal part. We personally would do not recommend sharing the passwords. So as long as you have the password, your digital signatures are safe. Even if someone gets hold of the USB tokens, they cannot sign the documents. But when you're signing in continuation, like you have 5, 10 documents to be signed, the first document, you sign, it'll prompt you for the password, but the next one, two, three, four, it would not ask you for those passwords every time. But that is a session. There is no set limit. I would say about 15 to 20 minutes is a session time. Once we are outside of the session time, let's say if you come back and within 1 hour and start to sign another document, yes, it'll again prompt you for the password. That's the thing. Okay, so again, now what city is looking for once you sign this document up till here, the green check mark on the left hand side here, the signed and all signatures are valid, is what is mandated, what is needed. That shows that this is a digital signature. This is from a third party provider like Global Sign, and it has the stuff that we need. So as you may see, that small little space, it would squeeze in as much as it can, but if it goes beyond that, these are digital documents. They will take the signatures as it is, so that should not be a problem. And another thing is that city is going to click on the signature, like I'm clicking right now. That's what it's going to happen. Once they click on the signature, it'll show that the signature is valid, signed by the professional engineer, and this document has not been modified since the signature was applied. That is very important. Okay, and the document was signed by the current user, and they can go to the properties, they can check the validity, and when was it signed, signer certificate. We have already seen that part, issued by Global Sign. So that is what is needed. Okay, so okay, that being said, I have okay. Another point that I can explain is, let's say if you signed a document and you think that this document, no, I didn't need to sign it. Maybe I have to do some editing, whatever. So you can right click on the signature. There is an option to clear the signature. You can clear it as well, delete it, clear it as well. As long as the document is in your possession, you can clear the signature, and the signature will go away. All right. The field is going to stay there, but that's okay. That doesn't matter. So now you can go ahead back. You can go to digitally sign, use your mouse, make a bigger space, and it'll take you back to the same thing. Global sign. Okay. And all right, let's see. This time we go with a handwritten one and click on sign. Save it. Okay, here you go. Then you again get a valid signature. That is what is needed. And if any one of us is using Bluebeam, the good news about Bluebeam, or the difference when it comes between Adobe and Bluebeam, is if you have a big project and you have hundreds of documents to be signed. I know Natasha explained, that you can sign. You just need to sign the cover page and add the stamp on the rest of the pages. Well, that is a good thing. I'm glad that they are accepting it this way. But I do hear from other cities, some cities, they think that it has to be signed. The 100 pages, they need to be signed. So that'll be a big pain to sign. Do the whole process on 100 pages. But Bluebeam Extreme, that's a version, Revu and Standard, then Extreme version, a little expensive though. But yeah, that will give you an option to do the batch signing. Now, batch signing is, as the name suggests, batch. You select a batch of documents and make a box just like we did, and then put the stamp on, and it'll automatically sign all the pages. The maximum that I have seen with one of my clients was 200, 222 in fact. So just one shot. It'll take a few minutes, of course. The system processes and does the whole thing, but you won't have to repeat the process every time, and that'll save you a lot of time there. Okay, so that's pretty much from the digitally signing. Let's see. Do I have the questions here? Okay, how do you allow the document to be editable after it is digitally signed. So there is an option there, when you want people to sign the document. So two ways: one, you lock the document and no one else can sign it, and second, you do not lock the document, because let's say you have multiple people and you can create fields for them, and so that other people can sign the document, and then a final person gets to the document and they sign it. Okay, so that is very much possible. And okay, I think Ricardo, Jeff, they had the same question. And so standard text and appearance is good enough, or does it have to be a seal? Well, again, it depends on city. If they're expecting the seals to be in there, yes, it's very much possible. And if you do not have the seal, there are quite a few companies online which provides the stamps, the PDF stamps, and that's how that works. And PE stamps, there's one of my customers, they gave me this thing, pestamps.com. I can just type it here, PE stamp.
Harinder, and just to chime in, architects and engineers are required to put their seal on the document.
Here you go. Yep, that's fine. So if you are expecting the seals to be in there, pestamps.com is it's not global sign. I'm just kind of pushing it through because quite a few of my customers, they suggested that these people, they are quick, and it's like $10 per seal, and you get to you get to have the PDF image of your seal within 1 hour. That they're quick. Okay. All right. So
one of the questions is about the editing or the security settings on the document. I believe that has to be done before the digital seal is applied. Is that correct?
yes, so let's look into that, Natasha. I see, that question coming in. I was about to come on to that as well. So, yeah, okay, right. Yep, so let's pull up another document. Actually, my screen has become a little no. Oh, okay. This is okay. So let's go in there, go to certificates, digitally sign. Continue. Standard. We'll do a different kind. Okay, we'll go with digital seal. Okay, now this is where what I wanted to show. Once you select the document, and there is a lock document after signing button here. So either we are keeping it checked because we do not want anyone else to interrupt the flow, or we keep it unchecked because we want other people to add their comments, or add another signature. I would say more signatures than comments, right? Because adding comments is more of a PDF or Adobe functionality. But as far as the signatures are concerned, if you do not lock the document, it allows other people to sign the document. And the reason is here, because as you see, this document was already signed, right? And it was not locked. Now I'm signing it again. And we'll test it in both the ways as well. So go ahead and we'll lock it this time, and we'll sign it. It's verifying. Okay. So now you see there are two signatures up here. One, which is valid here, and there's another one that is valid as well. So two signatures, both of them different formats, but again, it it might be a question that, okay, it's been signed by the same USB dongle. That's fine. But even if it's signed by any other dongle, any other digital signature, it'll show the same thing because I just don't have two signatures with me. I can only have one. Yeah, so that's for the demo purpose, but it is very much possible. Now let's try the second part. We have locked the document. We're going to try to sign it again. Let's see if that works. We'll go to more tools, certificates. Okay, so we went to the certificates. Now the good news here is, okay, here you go. You see that there is no digitally signed. I'm going again here. Please look up for this. I'm going to certificates. I do not find the digitally signed button available. I hope that answers the question. You cannot even add the digital signature because this document was locked. And to go back a little, a little backward, we had one signature already in the system and it was not locked. It allowed me to put the second signature. But now we locked it, as we saw that. It is not giving me an option. I'm going back to tools. I'm selecting certificates. This digitally signed button should be enabled. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Hunter. And just to clarify, I think there's a confusion between the difference between the signature lock and the document property settings locks and securities. So I believe this just locks that signature, like you just showed how you can either add another signature or not add the other signature. But some people are asking about the integrity of the document when the file is not locked. So in this case, the signatures are locked, and so anything that changes after these signatures are applied would then invalidate the signature, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I was coming to that part as well. Thanks, Natasha. Validity summary. This is what it's gonna interlink the digital signature and the Adobe functionality. Now, it clearly says this document has not been modified since the signature was applied. If there was an editing happened in between the first signature and the second signature, this piece will clearly say that yes, the document was modified. Unfortunately, I do not have that sample right now because I don't have the Adobe Pro. I cannot edit the PDFs, but I have seen it in multiple usage, multiple customers, and it is very very simple and straightforward because that's why they say this document has not been modified. Had this been modified, or let's say if we actually try to modify any document, this functionality, in fact, there are two indications. Number one, the green check mark on the left hand side, it will turn into a yellow triangle with an exclamation. This is the key. If it's not a green check mark, that means the signature is not valid. It's not a trusted document. It's not the document was tried or document was modified in between. And when we go into the properties, that's where it will show that this document has been modified when the signature was applied. So this is how far a digital signature can mandate or can show that the document integrity was in place and there's nothing wrong that has happened.
Right, so those that are concerned about the integrity of the document can rest assured that the validity of their seal then would not be there anymore.
Absolutely.
After the 100%. Document is changed. And so since we, the city, require that markups be allowed, that's okay, because once we receive, the first time we receive your file, we're checking that the signature is valid. Mm-hmm. Then once the plan reviewers get it and put their markup on it, the signature is invalidated at that point, but then we've put our markups, return the files to you so that then you can make those changes and then resubmit it again Absolutely. With your valid signature.
Absolutely. As long as that workflow is happening between the professional engineer and the city, and there is no interruption, which I'm just superficially thinking, which is very likely, the workflow has to be between these two entities, the city and the professional engineer. So they sign the document, they do not lock it, number one, because that's not the final signature. And I believe the final signature has to come from city as well as an approval, right, Natasha?
Correct. And
Okay.
that was a question just posted by Norman. The on-site copy would have the city's approved stamp on it.
Right. So my suggestion or my pointer here on this is when the professional engineers they sign the document, they do not lock the document. Number one. And the workflow when that happens between the professional engineer and the city does the markups, of course the signature will be invalidated. That's the point, because we have unlimited signatures. There is no cap on how many times you can sign it. Let's say there are like 10 times here and there, up and down. Professional engineer sends a document, city does the markup, and then again goes back. The to and fro process happens multiple times. Does not matter if, as long as we are not finalizing the document, and the final signature will come from the professional engineer, and city says okay, everything is fine, and they seal and stamp it. Simple. That is when the document gets finalized. So the 2 points here is, number one, the document integrity will be stable, will be there as long as the process is in between these two entities, professional engineer and the city, and you're allowed to do the markups, which is a part of a process. And the second part, when the final signature happens, because city has to sign and seal as well at the very end, professional engineer should not lock the document. Now that locking of document, it is intended, or it is a good thing to have when you think that nobody else is going to sign the document. For example, city, when they put the final stamp, they know that nobody should be able to add any signatures to that. That is when city can lock the document. That's it. That'll be the final archive for the whole permit. Does that help?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Harinder, so we have a little bit of time left. Do you mind showing where you set the security settings, like in the example you sent me via email, where you can set those PDF settings?
You mean this is a Adobe one? Let's see.
Yeah.
We do see some questions coming up. I would love to answer. I've actually kept another half an hour open. My my next one, so I thought, okay, this is definitely gonna be extended. So the next one is gonna happen at 11:30. If you have time, if anyone has time, yeah, I'm available till 11:30. No rush from my side for sure. Okay, and
I think that showing that, I think will answer some of the questions in the chat box, and then we can stay and answer some more questions.
Okay, sure. Let me see. So, okay, yeah, I'm just reading through. So, why do some signatures validate in Adobe and not in Bluebeam? Very rare, Jennifer. That can happen. I personally have not seen it can happen because the base of both the softwares, Adobe and Bluebeam, it's a PDF, and unless you have a particular scenario, I don't know if you can share with us. I can double check, because majority of the times, okay, one thing that I can think of is the version of Adobe or the Bluebeam. If it's a very old version, like I mentioned, Adobe 8 and 9, they would not take the the certificates. Jennifer, you can definitely send that file over to me. No problem. Natasha has my contact details. I would love to take that up and answer that very, very clearly for you. But as of now, I think that it's just a version of the Adobe which has caused problems, because some of our professional engineers they were using the perpetual licensing of Adobe. Back in 2012 and 2013, Adobe moved from their perpetual licensing to the cloud-based, the Creative Cloud and the PDF Cloud. That's when they asked for pay the subscription and we keep you updated, but not not for the perpetual ones. We used to buy a CD and keep the PDF on our system. Those versions they would not accept the thing. Same for the Bluebeam as well. And Okay. All right. So we'll take all the questions shortly. And Natasha, I think I sent you that link, right?
Yes.
For the security. Let me see. Here you go. So to secure the PDF, me and Natasha, we were discussing because this was definitely a point. This is a help that we have from Adobe, and we can share this link with everyone as well. Um, it's simple, if depending on what kind of document that you're using. So if you want to add, a password to the document, that is very much possible, and then if you want to give the permissions, so that is again thing here. It gives you very very clear indications, and I can try to do it on my. I don't know if they can allow it on the free version of Adobe. Um, okay, let's close this. Go to File. Oh, File and protect using password. Okay, here you go. Password protect. I think they do something here.
But so remember, we ask that you do not password protect, because then that makes it difficult when we receive it, I think, to add markups.
Exactly. It's the same thing like locking the document after you sign it. Because if your conversation, if your transmission is between your entity and the city of Miami Beach, it has to be open until or unless city says that this is approved, this is all set. If you want to keep it for your own purpose, you want to lock it, that's a different process. That's up to you. But as long as the conversation is happening, not recommended to password protect it, because obviously then how would the markups happen? How would the final signatures happen? So Citi would have trouble doing that, and they'll keep coming back to you. Hey, can you unlock it? Can you redo the thing? So that's a confusing step. So security of the document, like I said, it is there. It is integrated to the PDF and the Blue Beam. That's fine. And as soon as you put the digital signatures on the document, let's say, I mean, hypothetically, you sign a document and you did not lock it. Now, there are two things happening. When you lock the document, it would not allow someone else to sign on top of it. That is number one. But the document integrity still is active. And if someone, let's say someone hacks the file in between, might be a situation, right? So if someone hacks the file and they try to modify that file, and they think that, okay, I will change this drawing and then let it go to Citi. As soon as they try to edit the PDF, and if it is a signed, digitally signed document, Citi, when they receive it, they're gonna find that this document was modified, and they will not see that the green check mark, because the document integrity was tampered with, and the digital signature will detect that the PDF was modified, and it will take off that trust of the green check of the trust, and it will start showing, like I showed in the properties, that this document was not modified. For this signature, it will start showing that this document was modified. So that is the difference. So basically, for the workflow that we are having in the consideration, I would recommend not to kind of protect the documents like this. But yes, it is very much possible, as we are looking at it, protect now. So it'll take you to, you have to sign in. So that's the thing. You need to have a full version of Adobe. You sign in, and then only it will let you complete the process of the thing. If you're using a free version like I'm using, it will not give you that option. So that's another thing, Natasha. Right?
Okay.
But again, like I said, to answer that question, these are possibilities. It is there, and we have that link, Natasha. You can share it with everyone after the meeting. And if people have the Acrobat Pro version, and if they feel like, for their other purposes, for their internal purposes, they want to keep the document locked, they want to keep the password protected before they submit it to the city, yes, most welcome. They can do that. Okay.
Harinder, can you go back to that page? I just wanted to show something that I saw when I reviewed that file.
You mean to say the Adobe page?
Yes, please. The instructions. I think it's the securing PDF tab.
Where was that? Okay, I'm not able to see it. Okay, here you go.
Right before that.
There you go.
There
Here
you
you
go.
go.
So if you scroll down a little bit, when I was reading this, I saw some areas where it shows how you allow markups. So scroll down a little bit more, please.
Okay. Yep. I think you're right there. It gives you an option to, at least have people edit the document if they really want to do that. So that's possible.
Yeah. And a little bit further down, there's some more information on that.
Restricting editing of PDF.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the one that's critical, that we will accept it if, and there's two things that it can be restricted. There is, but the rest of it has to allow. So one of the things that is restricted is that you not change the base document, but it still allows markups, if that makes any sense. So that you can't edit the document, but you can make markups. And so there's two things that we allow. So under the more options there, I think is where there are two things that when we receive it, we will accept it with those two items being restricted. But sometimes when files are submitted to us, they actually restrict additional items. And so then that becomes very difficult, because then we can't do markups.
Right
we
there.
Can't even approve it right there.
Right. So right there, Harinder, you see it explains like changes allowed, printing allowed. That's where they can set all those security settings.
Yep, and that's a password thing. Again, I believe if that password has been kept, the professional engineers, they'll need to share that password with you, right?
Well, they don't need to. If they only restrict two of the items, we can work with it. If they restrict it completely, then quite frankly, we can't work with it. And
that's
so
right.
that's where we run into some issues, and those are a majority, and the customers don't really understand. So I'm getting a lot of emails on that, and that was, let me find, because I actually took screenshots this morning and sent an email on this. I'm always behind. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You continue, and I apologize. When I find it, I'll tell you what it is.
Yep, and I think I'm also trying to take the questions alongside Kelly. You had a question about how to do the markups prior to the signing. So these are the settings, for allowing the markups. So if you're asking about the password protection, this is what it is. But if you're just using the Acrobat Reader DC and then asking to allow the markups, you technically don't need to do anything. So you just leave it like that, right? And have the document signed, as Natasha mentioned earlier. So if the document is digitally signed and there are markups needed from the city, when they do it, of course, the signature will be, not trusted. But again, the workflow is happening between city and you. And when it comes back to you, you can just do the editing, re-sign it, and send it back. So that is how it will work. Otherwise, you don't need to do any settings to allow the markups. So your standard, because CD has the Acrobat Reader, Acrobat Pro, so they can edit the documents very easily there. I hope that answers the question.
Harinder, there's a good question here from Gustavo. The question is, can you have the certificate in a memory stick to be used in various computers, or does the certificate and the signing needs need to be dedicated to a single computer?
Very, very good question. I'm glad that, Gustavo, you brought it up. So if the answer is yes, a USB token is not something that that is stuck to one computer. You can have multiple machines, and Let's say if you have two different computers, one in your office, one at your home, then you do not need two tokens unless you really want it. That's a different scenario. But you just one token, you install the drivers onto the second machine. The driver's link is there in that installation portal that we have. It's there in the City of Miami Beach website as well. I can share that link. And you just need to install the drivers. It takes only 2 minutes to install the drivers on the second machine. Once you have the drivers, plug in the token. It'll detect the token. It'll detect the signatures the same way as you did it on your master computer. Okay, well, that is number one. Situation number two is, let's say if you think, you know what, I don't want to keep juggling between my USB. I don't want to carry my token from my office to my home or multiple computers, and I travel a lot. I mean, once we are out of this situation, and then in that scenario, you can always buy a second token, additional token, and we can allow you to replicate that certificate onto the second token. When you do that, both the tokens will be activated and you can plug in any token anytime. Both would be password protected again. Remember, the security is the most important one. They'll be password protected. You know the password, and if you're traveling, you just take one token in your bag and you just sign it wherever you are. And when you're back in your office, just get your standard token and sign the documents. Okay. And let's see. Can I pull that up here? Okay. So Natasha, do we have other questions coming up? I hope I did not miss any.
No, I asked you, I think the last one that was not repetitive. There's a few that are kind of city process questions, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm answering them in the chat, and whatever we can't get to today, I'll continue to answer them and post them on our website.
Absolutely. And now to quickly wrap it up, after we have this, I can. Okay, here you go. So this is the link. I'm sorry, this is the link here, and I think we have this link in the city's website as well. So digital signature, how to get the digital signatures. Now that we know how it works, the next step can be how to get the digital signatures. Number one, we have a special link. We have a special pricing metrics with City of Miami and the City of Miami Beach, and now you just need to click on this buy now button. But before I do that, I actually want to take you to the FAQs and ordering instructions. So every single step here, it's very neatly mentioned. You just need to do what? Like click now, buy now button, and then go to the, okay, let me take this out. Okay, certificate, create your account with us. Then you need to fill in your details, your certificate identity, what's the name of the person who's going to get the certificate, then make your payment. Our verification process happens. Now, there are two ways to do the verification. One, where your organization is vetted. That is very simple. That is very easy to happen because organizations are mostly registered, and it is easy to get the details from the data approved databases. But when it comes to individuals, still does not matter. The only caveat to that is to verify an individual will need to have a notarized copy of the driver's license. Now you can get it notarized from any UPS or any bank, which means that it'll be easy for us to verify the notary and confirm that they actually signed your notarized your driver's license. So once that is done, we verify that. We'll just confirm the order on a phone call with you to make sure that you are the one who approved the order. No one else was barging in. Another security measure. And once that happens, your vetting is complete, and we will ship a USB token to your, to your address, be it your home address, be it your office address. If you think, now that's another point, the standard process is anywhere between 1 to 3 business days. But if you think that something is super urgent and we have a big project and it has to go out tomorrow, that is a time you need to talk to me. Just shoot me an email, send call me, shoot me an email. Natasha has already shared my contact in the window, and just tell me that, Harinder, we need this done quickly, ASAP. The standard is 1 to 3 business days, but the best time that I have done for my customer is 22 hours. Now, how that 22 hours? I don't even say 24. Oh, I'm sorry. What is that? Oh, can you hear me? Oh, okay. Yeah, there was an
Yeah.
echo there. I don't know what happened. So yeah, 22 hours is what best we can do. In that, we only need the FedEx account number from the customer. We will expedite and we will overnight the token. Let's say you start the application and it takes only 10 minutes for the application, and then it'll go to our verification team. They'll we'll expedite it internally so that we can expedite it within 22 hours. And in the meantime, your token goes out through FedEx and they deliver it tomorrow 10 o'clock. Once you have the token, your verification is completed. It is only a matter of 15 minutes with the instructions, which are listed right here. And once you have that and you find the certificate is installed, you can start signing the document before noon next day. So here you see the instructions are already here. When you receive the USB token, follow the instruction guide. This goes to our global sign page. This gives you the whole link. And in fact, this has a link to the drivers as well. As you see, number 2, download and install the SafeNet authentication client drivers. Very much possible. So you can just click on that link. It'll take you to the drivers. And there might be another question that it says Windows. How about Macs? Yes, Macs are very much possible. We do have many clients using Mac, and there is a little tweak to that settings in when it comes to Mac. And if you see here, Mac version support, OX X, Catalina. So we have all that. If there is any issue, there is a you know plan B also. So we need to do this little tweak into the settings of Adobe, and that is how we are able to get the digital signatures detected, because Mac has a different security policies, the drivers and everything. So this is the way out to get that going on the Macs. So yeah, every instructions is in there, and once you do that, you already know how to sign the documents. There are videos available. I think it's oh yeah, you can see the videos here. Where you go? Oops, it is not going away. Signing tutorials. Adobe signing overview, right? This will show you how to sign the thing. There's a video here as well. Whatever we just did, I know it's recorded, but yeah, you can always go to this link. It'll show you how to sign the Bluebeam as well. Here you go. There's a signing Bluebeam Reboot. They just use a Reboot 2015 as a standard, but it'll give you a very clear idea on how to digitally sign the documents both in Bluebeam and Adobe. The most standard things to the PDF that we use. So that's pretty much it. And again, it says that for any questions regarding installation support, we do have a technical support as well. They are very much efficient. They can help you to get this thing going. But on top of everything, I take pride myself on letting my customers know that before anybody else, I'm the person who can assist you from A to Z to make sure you are the one who is you're going to sign the documents, and you are the one who's dealing with a live person, not just machine, or not just waiting on the line. I know supports can be overwhelmed sometimes, but my line is always available. To the extent some of my big customers, they have my cell phones as well. So my cell phone number is always available as well in case you really urgently need something, and it's a super urgent situation. So we're trying our best to be available to make sure the experience that you get from us is I would say the best. I won't say world class, whatever. It's the best. Yeah, so that's it from my side, everyone. Again, Natasha, thank you very much for pulling me in and making sure that we were able to assist, we were able to answer questions. I'm still open. We still have a few minutes. If anyone has any questions, I can take them.
Yes, hi, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, who is this?
My name is Charles.
All right,
So,
Charles.
hi, does the digital signature have to be over the seal or can it be on the side of the drawing?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? Digital signature has to be on what?
Does the digital signature need to be over the seal on the drawing or can it be off to the side? Because when I put the digital signature over the seal, it covers a lot of the seal.
You're right. It has to be on the side, like as you saw in the demo as well. There are two sides, left side and the right side. The left side is reserved for the seal, and the right side is hard coded. It is for the text. It gives the information digitally signed by Harinder Singh and date and time.
Well, my seal is already on the sheet, so I'm not doing a digital sign and seal. I'm just doing a digital sign.
My suggestion, Charles, is instead of doing the double work of stamping it first and then adding the digital signatures, you should add your seal into the digital signature itself, so that it will save you time, and that will answer your question as well. It will not overlap onto your onto your stamp.
Well, my seal has already come on the sheet, so it's not double work. So I have my CAD has the seal already on it. So I'm
Oh.
going to only add my signature. So the question is, so I should just put the signature to either the right or the left of the seal, correct? So it
Yes.
doesn't cover it.
Okay. Yes,
Yes.
I agree with that, so that it doesn't cover your seal.
Okay.
Yeah. And the best thing on that, Charles, to go a little further, is that city is going to click on the digital signature. As long as they see that signature is valid, they should be happy about it. And as long as they're able to see your stamp, which is not covered, as you said, yes, they should be very happy with it.
Okay, and one last question. From this point forward, the architectural plans cannot be, signed and scanned, correct? Or they still allowed to the end of the year?
Natasha,
I'm
you want
sorry.
to take that?
Sure. Scan?
So I was told that the engineers are still allowed to print and scan their sheets till the end of the year. Is that still the same for the architect, or the architect is no longer allowed to?
Yes, it's still the same for the architect, as long as you're submitting the affidavit in lieu of the digital seal as well, every time you submit.
Because we just submitted a printed scan set and the city rejected it and said it.
Okay, send me the permit number, Charles, and I'll look into that offline.
Okay. And what's your email again?
I'll type it in the chat box right now, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Harinder, very much for this. This was very informational and helpful, I think, for myself and hopefully for everyone else. Thank you for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Yep. My pleasure, Natasha, and thank you very much again for inviting me to do this. And again, I'm open as it is. If we need more information, you have already shared my contact. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that way. And if we need another level of demo, if we need more demos like this, I'm always available, as you know.
Great. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.